ABC News report. Diddy denied bail for the fourth time. Let's go ahead and get into it before we get in Jag Liar in Tokyo.
I'm Ken Whitworth here in Los Angeles, and we have breaking news right now on ABC News Live. A judge has denied bail for Sean Diddy Combs. Of course, this was the hip-hop mogul's latest bid for freedom as he remains in federal jail for his racketeering and sex trafficking case. The producer and rapper has pleaded not guilty to racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and prostitution charges. Combs was previously denied bail back in September as well. For more on this, I'm going to bring in ABC News legal contributor Shauna Lloyd, who's joining us on the phone, as well as ABC News contributor and SiriusXM radio host Mike Muse for more on this. So I'm glad to have you both here with us. So first of all, Shauna, let's jump here to you. I'm curious at all if you're surprised by this ruling from the judge here again to deny bail to Sean Diddy Combs.
No, I'm not surprised by the ruling because, as she cited in her order, there are very serious allegations about the danger that he potentially poses to other witnesses and the public at large. There are allegations that he has, been violent with others. He's also attempted to allegedly intimidate other witnesses and still contact witnesses while incarcerated, despite having an order that says he's not supposed to. So under these types of conditions, we usually find that the judge will not grant bail in order to preserve the judicial system and the witnesses and ensure that testimony, people feel comfortable being able to come to court and testify without being threatened with violence.
And that's part of exactly what the judge is saying, that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community. I mean, Mike Muse, that is quite a statement here when someone is trying to get out on bail, noting that his defense lawyer said, let him out on bail. He would be in his 3-bedroom apartment right in New York and that he would be monitored at all times. And the judge does not buy in it.
Not buying it all, Kana. And safety can mean a couple of different things. Safety just doesn't mean free from harm of violence. Safety can also, too, mean emotional and mental dynamics that could occur by Sean Combs reaching out to potential witness to get them to possibly change their testimony, to feel threatened that if they were to come forward and to testify against him, associates on the outside may be able to get in contact with them, really making them feel unsafe to go before the court, go before jury, go before the witness stand and to testify. What we're also, too, saying is the judge brought in evidence from a text that Cassie sent to Diddy after the elevator incident, where Cassie said, quote, you are sick to think that it was okay to do what you did to me, really feeding into what the judge is concerned about in terms of physical safety. So we highlighted mental and emotional safety as well as physical safety that the judge has cited as a reason needing to keep to deny Sean Combs bail.
Right. And of course, that violent incident with Cassie is certainly the crux of this case. And we know that his lawyers have pushed back on that video a lot. His lawyer at one point said that, in fact, is evidence of a relationship deteriorating when it is viewed clearly very differently by the judge here in this case. But also, Shauna, I'm curious as to your thoughts here on these allegations, right, of witness tampering. We've heard these allegations that he was, using other inmates' phone accounts to try to make phone calls in a way to make it so that they wouldn't be monitored. And there's also this concern that he might be trying to influence the jury pool via social media, even while he's behind bars.
Absolutely. And I'm sure the judge really looked into that because although we know that these are allegations, there's been no evidentiary hearing as to whether or not these actually rise to the level of obstruction. Just the idea that he is not even following the rules that are enlisted by the prison is already a sign to the judge that he may not follow any conditions that are set forth. And so those type of allegations, whether or not there's been an evidentiary hearing, just speaks to the actions of the individual while incarcerated. And if you're not having good behavior at that time, the judge is going to look to say that, even if you're let out and left to your own devices, it's not going to get any better. So that has not played in his favor at all.
And Mike, if you can.
So they deem Diddy as dangerous. They when they feel like that he's going to be tampering with witnesses, calling people up, doing all types of tactics to try to, scare witnesses and this, that, and the third. So I don't know, man. They saying that's why they ain't gonna let him out because he's too dangerous to let out.
Bro, they ain't never gonna let him out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, they never gonna let Diddy out of jail, ever. They gonna F around and give Diddy 80 years.
Dang. Right, he got denied.
I think so. They really got it out for him, bro.
Yeah,
The plan, it was for him to go to jail and lose everything.
Yeah. They want him broke.
They want him broke and in prison.
In prison, yeah.
Yeah, they not gonna let him out, bro. They denied him bail 3 times. They is not letting him out.
Dang. They might, like you said, if they got something on him, then like you said, they would just trial. You know what I mean? So that means he gotta fight that case from behind bars, and the trial don't start till May 2025.
Facts.
So He got all that time to sit in there until his trial start.
Sort of read us in here on what this also says about the larger team around Sean Diddy Combs, noting here that the judge writes the sufficiency of any condition that would place trust in Combs and individuals in his employment, like a private security detail, to follow these conditions. I mean, they're really questioning everyone around them as well.
They are. And Kana, just listening to you and trying to talk, I really began to think about not only his associates and who's on his payroll, but also Kana, his family. Sean Combs has a very strong immediate family with his children who also do hold a level of social currency and culture, and who also, too, are really influential on social media. I'm thinking about Kana recently. We saw that was posted on Instagram where the children would gather around the table and was able to communicate with Sean Combs behind bars to wish him a happy birthday. And you can hear Sean Combs on the speakerphone. They're talking about the love they have for the father. The father is talking about the love that they have for them. So really signaling to any potential witnesses that his children are a tight unit, has great social media currency. Also, too, his sons are actually involved in the music industry, to which before he was arrested, his son made a rap song really questioning the federal government, really questioning potential witnesses to go forward against his father. So when you tie all those things together, you look at the social media dynamic, the social currency, the ability to use music to possibly influence and cross distress to amongst witnesses. That is all part of the safety to which the judge is talking about.
And noting here, this is the fourth judge to deny Combs bail. So again, this has been an ongoing case. He has denied these allegations, and we will continue to cover this here at ABC News Live. Shauna and Mike, our thanks to both of you.
All right, so they
hold on, I gotta address this real quick. Said nobody has it out for him unless it's a victim. Nah, you gotta understand. Somebody has it out for him. We only say that because they've been letting him operate like that for years. So the only reason why they taking him down is because somebody has it out for him. Somebody more powerful than he is has it out for him. Because you gotta think about it. He been doing all these things for years. You think law enforcement and all them ain't know about his activities if he was actually doing all that stuff?
Yeah, they said he's working with the feds.
They said he was working with the feds himself at one point. You know what I mean? That's the crazy part right there. So they was well aware of his activity. So when we say that, we only saying that because we know they was well aware of his activities and they didn't bust him a decade ago, 2 decades ago.
Yo, hit that like button, y'all.
Only reason why they busting him now, they saying because, you know what I mean, he stepped out of bounds. I don't know, it's alleged, it's a rumor that he stepped out of bounds with that Diageo company. Ever since then, things started going downhill. And that's what it appeared to be. Because y'all remember Kanye fell out with them too, and then they was ready to replace Kanye with Diddy and say Forbes is like Diddy is the next billionaire since Kanye's not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, that means he's cool with them. Yeah, the next day. When they do stuff, when they put articles out like that, you're cool with them. You know what I mean? They ain't got no problem with you. Right after he had that problem with Diageo, you know what I'm saying? They come all the allegations. Not saying that the allegations are true or false, because we don't know. We waiting for the trial. But all we saying is that's the reason why. You know what I'm saying? They could have bust this man years ago, so they've been letting him operate. Why now?
Because they don't need him no more.
Because they don't need him no more, right? He stepped out of line. Stepped out of bounds, right?
So now they coming after the sons too. They ain't gonna stop there. They want the man legacy gone. They want the sons. They want his legacy gone. They
not even renting property to his sons. They party too much.
Right. We about to get into that too.
Flying back and
all right. So let's go ahead and get into this is law. You know, law and crime. You know what I'm saying? P. Diddy witness who has the sex tape squares off on the rapper's sons. So yeah, they going after the sons too. So let's go ahead and get into this real quick.
We're going to get into it right now. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Another interesting side wrinkle in the Sean Diddy Combs case we got to talk about. You remember Courtney Burgess? We talked about him before. He is the purported witness who testified in front of the grand jury, currently hearing new evidence in the Sean Combs criminal case. If you recall, Burgess went on Banfield on News Nation, and he revealed that he was given 11 flash drives that contained alleged sex tapes involving Combs and celebrities. And he said, of the 8 celebrities on the tapes, those who are victims of Sean Combs, they're not perpetrators, victims, he said 2 or 3 were minors, which, as you know, is consistent with a number of allegations in the civil lawsuits that Sean Combs is currently facing. To be clear, though, Combs is currently not criminally charged with anything with respect to minors. That could change. But right now, he's just charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, transportation to engage in prostitution, but all with respect
Did
to
y'all hear
adult
that?
victims.
He wasn't
There's a
charged with
superseding
minors.
indictment. He gets hit with new charges, possibly about victims.
That
They say
haven't
he
been
wasn't charged
proven yet.
Yeah, they haven't
he
charged
wasn't
with
charged
minors.
with no minors. Yeah, that haven't been proved. So that's the type of stuff that we need evidence on before we just start saying that's what he was doing.
Yeah. Because I see a lot of people out here saying,
Fact.
"But what about the children?" Well, we don't have evidence of that yet. We got
There ain't no evidence to that yet. Yeah, you gotta wait for the trial to see if they have anything for that. But that's not even in there. You know what I mean? That's not even, they're not even charging them with that.
Nah, they want the trafficking.
They want the trafficking part.
Put women across state lines and stuff like that. So let's
not just women and men.
Women and men. Yeah. Yep.
Victims, we shall see. But this is what brings me to what we're talking about right now. So, Mr. Burgess has claimed that he got these flash drives from the late girlfriend of Sean Combs, Kim Porter, who, as we know, tragically died several years back from what authorities concluded was lobar pneumonia. And that is despite the fact that there have been rumors, both online and in the media, that there is something more to her death. And that, to be clear, totally unsubstantiated. That has been debunked. We've talked about it here on Sidebar multiple times. But putting that aside, here is the other thing with Mr. Burgess. He apparently says he owns the rights to a book that was reportedly based on the alleged memoir of Kim Porter. In fact, according to TMZ, Burgess' phone was seized by the feds, and on it was a copy of a flash drive with material that was used in this book. Here's the problem. Christian and Quincy Combs, these are the sons of Diddy and Kim Porter. Quincy's actually adopted by Diddy, but they are reportedly fighting back, and they have sent Burgess a cease and desist letter to prevent the further sale of this book. They argue this is just an attempt to capitalize on Porter's fame and that they own the rights to her IP, her intellectual property, like her diary entries, her potential manuscript. As her heirs, they own it. And they also want an accounting of current sales of the book. To be clear, though, they aren't acknowledging that there is, in fact, a long-lost memoir from their mother. In fact, they've actually denied that before when there was a similar book, a derivative work, we'll talk about that, published by this guy named Chris Todd on Amazon. They were adamantly fighting against that. They said that their mother wouldn't write this. But what they're basically saying is if something should exist, they own it. Burgess has responded, saying he owns the copyright in the book, that Porter gave him the rights to this manuscript, that the brothers are making, quote, a pathetic attempt, a, quote, desperate ploy to extort him. And this shows how bad their financial situation is. And he reportedly even suggests that Sean Combs is probably behind this. So a lot of back and forth between both sides, and I want to sort it out and at least get one side of the story on this. So with that, I want to bring in Ariel Mitchell. Thank you so much for taking the time. It's great to meet you. So the first question I had when I was reading about this, is this book from your client the same book as the one that was published by Chris Todd a few months ago? That was the one that was on Amazon before it was removed by Amazon. What's the connection there?
Yeah, so Chris did get the book from Courtney. Courtney has a more thorough copy of the book. When Chris published the book that was on Amazon, it was edited. So some of the passages were removed, some of the pictures were removed, and I think there was like a forward or something that was added to the book. So it is a different version, but from the same, what in copyright law is called derivative work. So it derives from that work that Courtney has.
And just to be clear, Courtney's work, Courtney's book, is it currently being sold anywhere?
I'm not exactly sure. I believe Courtney has a, I was about to say, here's a woo-woo, welcome to downtown Miami. But I believe he is selling it on a website. I only came.
What?
I think that book might be cat.
I'm thinking that book is another comploit. Because why would they wait now? Remember, we've been talking about that book, even when we was talking about the book with Jag, when we had her on there. Like, why is that book coming up now that the nigga locked up? Like, they've been sitting on that the whole time. They could have released that at any time, but they wait until it's time for him to go down to release that. So it's like they keep a file. What, they keeping a file on niggas until it's time to take them down?
They leaked so-called little excerpts from it. You remember they were saying that it was from a whole book or a whole journal or memoir.
Yeah, but they wasn't doing that until it was time for him to get taken down, though.
Oh, it definitely seems scripted.
When all the lawsuits,
it sounds
scripted.
When all the
lawsuits came out, that's when they start working on that.
It's part of a script.
So they definitely started working on him in the media when all the allegations and lawsuits came out. Then that's when they start saying, mentioning the book and dropping inserts from it, and now somebody puts it on Amazon. Then we saying that's the edited version. and this Courtney Burgess guy is supposed to have a real copy of it. It's just all one shit show, man. Yo, hit that like button if y'all just coming in here. We're gonna continue seeing what Courtney Burgess
Circus, y'all.
lawyer is saying.
Into that knowledge when I received the cease and desist letter from Quincy and Christian.
Got it. And in terms of the content of the book, what is this book about, the one from your client?
So I haven't taken the time to read the book either, but to my understanding, it's Kim Porter's memoir. So it's basically Kim Porter's stories. I haven't read, I shouldn't say that. I haven't read the entire book. I have read several excerpts from the book, several pages from the book. I haven't had time to sit down and read it in its entirety. But to my understanding, it purports to be from Kim Porter about experiences Kim Porter had.
And why do you think Christian and Quincy are so opposed to this coming out? Because they were opposed to the Chris Todd, as you said, derivative work coming out. They opposed to this. What is it about this piece of work that they're so opposed to?
Well, first it's talking about their father. And, you know, for even Quincy, that's his stepfather, but that's really the only father he knows. So, and then Christian, that's his doppelganger. Like Christian and Diddy look exactly alike. So, and then you think about the other piece of it. Their father is the one who gave them money, wealth, fame. So you want to protect that at all costs, even if you know your father did something bad or wrong. I also feel like they don't have any identities without their father. So for their father to go down for this, and what child wants to think this about their parent? Think that their parent was this kind of heinous monster. So I think we have to maybe put ourselves in position how we would feel if this was one of our parents, and what would we do in this situation?
Hey, so I just want to jump away from this update in the Combs case for a quick minute because I got a question for all of you out there. I know this is super random, but are any of you business owners out there? Maybe those of you thinking of starting?
All right, let's hop into this real quick because the Suns is getting banned from renting places. Gotta turn this damn ad block thing on. Off. They don't be letting you on the site without the ad. I know y'all gotta get that bread. New York Post.
Basically, they messing with. They gonna go after them too, because you already see they try to had them tied up to some allegations also. So yeah, they definitely going after Diddy and his family. They is not playing.
Hell yeah, bro.
Like we said, they got it out. Somebody got it out for them because you know what I mean, they don't usually be this aggressive. You know what I'm saying?
They want now his sons. Now that's crazy that the day that they denied him bail, which is today, they drop an article that his sons are not renting. They're not renting to their sons. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's wild.
You're saying the niggas partying too much and all that. So,
but we know it's more than that.
Hell yeah, it's more than that.
Basically, they don't want them in that city no more. That's basically what they indirectly telling them.
Yeah, well,
you know that's the network.
Yeah,
they all know all them realtors and all that. Yeah, they all know, and they know that they're blacklisted.
Hell yeah.
That's what what's his name was saying. That's what what's his name? Randy Quaid was saying.
Yeah. So Sean Diddy Combs' son banned from renting Los Angeles party homes. I'm after wrecking them. Source. His time is up in LA, bro.
Yeah, they want him out of LA for sure. His
time is up.
They don't want him or his family there.
Nope. Time is up. So it says when it comes to renting luxury homes for parties, Justin Combs, son of alleged freak all throwing Sean Diddy Combs, might be locked out of the market. A broker of the mansion in Southern California told the Post the younger Combs, 30, appears to be following the footsteps of Diddy, and who was notorious for lavish and over-the-top parties in the early 2000s. The company that I worked for rented a house to Justin, alleged LA-based facilitator. It says for the rich and famous, he would say, I'm having 20 people over, but there would be over 200 people, and they would wreck the house. So yeah, pretty much
but you know what's crazy? Them realtors was probably at some of them parties too. They act like they all wasn't partying too. Nah.
It was not. It was not that. It was all good. It was all good when it was all good
just a week ago.
Yeah, it was all good when it was all good. But now that Diddy's been outed,
right?
Now they're making a big deal out of all this now.
Y'all know damn well them freaky realtors. Y'all know damn well them realtors be freaky out there, and they be at them parties too.
Hell yeah.
Trying to hustle more properties to these Negroes at the party.
Yeah. Y'all hit that like button if y'all
Come
just
on,
coming
man.
in.
We know all that. He throw too many parties. Like y'all wasn't at some of them parties. Like your boss wasn't at some of them parties.
Facts.
That's what we trying to. That's why we say they got it out for him, because they all knew what he did before.
Yeah, that's
they
what
all knew what his sons did before.
They've been
for
renting
decades.
to them. They've been renting to them. So now that the son, that the dad's been outed, they all been outed. Somebody really working on them, boy. They say, "Yep, your time in LA is up. Your time in LA is finished."
Everybody know that. Everybody know about Diddy parties. All types of people be there.
LeBron
all types of people
like
that own all types of properties and all that.
Everybody know a party, party like a Diddy party.
Facts. Even if you wasn't at the freak off, you still was at some Diddy parties.
Right.
Anybody who's somebody, and people who usually sell and rent to these types of individuals, it's a network of them. It's usually the same social club. That's how they able to out people. That's how they able to out you. And you won't be able to rent nowhere in LA.
Well, that seems to be the case.
That seems to be the case.
Seems to be the case right
now.
That
seems to be the actual reality, the facts, the factual reality that's happening. Whether people have emotion about it or not, that's factual.
Now this nigga having a hard time selling that LA home. Now they putting hit pieces out on it saying that ain't worth the 60 million. Said it's only, you got people's realtors saying it's only worth 30 million. So that's just them driving down the price value of the house. When they do them hit pieces, they're saying that the house ain't worth all what he's trying to sell it for. That means they just put stuff out in the media so they could drive down the prices of the home so they could get it for cheaper. They trying to break them, bro. They trying to break it. That's what they want to do.
People think the victims got this much power. It ain't the victims that's doing this. It's the system that he betrayed.
Fact.
That was working with him at one point that's doing this. I mean, that's good. I mean, some good is coming out of it, because if he did produce real victims out there, he should be where he's at.
Yeah.
So we ain't saying, so we're not judging that part of it. We just saying that, oh, why now? They knew he was doing this for at least 3 decades. They said it themselves. The feds said they said it themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That they've been investigating this dude since early 2000s.
Yeah.
But then they was working with him on top of that. Right. That's the crazy part.
Facts.
But does it amplify?
True.
That's the confusing part. That's the shady part. That's the deep, dark, scripted, secret part.
This message that we've seen online that there's more to Kim Porter's death than meets the eye. I just want to be clear about what this book from your client really says.
So again, I'm going to reiterate, I have not read the entirety of the book. But from what I have read, it does support the allegations that have been made by Cassie, the allegations that have been made by the federal government, and the allegations that have been made by my clients, Tyrone Blackburn's clients, Tony Busby's clients. Everybody is saying the same thing. And Kim Porter, I feel like we were only willing to hear these things once Cassie came out. And now we are starting to see from Kim Porter's experience that these were the exact same experiences.
So the main question that people would have here is, why would Kim Porter give your client this manuscript? What was that relationship? They were close enough where she would give him her memoir, her diary entries. Why would she do that?
So to my understanding, Courtney was really good friends with Tupac. I'm always trying to explain this. So in New York, we all know the East Coast, West Coast beef, right? Sure. We all have some knowledge of it. It's only cursory. So you have to imagine on the East Coast, there was 2 factions. There was the Bad Boy faction, and then there was Death Row East. So Death Row was starting to encroach upon Diddy's territory in New York. And there are a lot of people in New York who didn't like Diddy, who didn't want to rock with the Bad Boy East Coast, side of the East Coast, West Coast beef. So there were a bunch of people in New York, a faction, who were West Coast, East Coasters, if you will. And Courtney was one of those people. So to my understanding, Courtney knew Kim through Tupac and Courtney's a industry insider, A&R, or a record exec who brought different people to labels to help them get into the music industry. So he knew producers, managers, all these people in the music industry. And one day he was talking to a friend who was with Kim, and Kim was like, "Who are you talking to?" He said, "I'm talking to Courtney B." And she said, "Oh, let me talk to him," because they knew each other through Tupac. And said to Courtney, "I got something because for you, I know you'll know what to do with it." And that's the next day is when Courtney got the flash drives, and one of the flash drives had the book on it. So I believe that if we're going to believe, let's say, that Kim really wanted this book to get out, and she knew there were only certain people she can trust because there were more people in Diddy's pocket than were not in Diddy's pocket, why wouldn't you go to his enemy, Diddy's enemy, which is people with the Tupac faction? And if you really want this information to get out, because anybody else is not going to get that information because their loyalty will always lie to Diddy. So I think, just me using my brain and the information I have been given and my understanding just culturally about what is going on, because it's my culture, it makes sense to me how Courtney ended up with this.
You don't anticipate that this is going to escalate into some sort of lawsuit and this going to court? And it sounds like if it is, you're ready to fight back against it.
Not only fight back, we're ready to countersue for defamation and other things, other torts. But I wish I would invite them. If you're watching this, please, I beg of you, please sue us. That'll be the best day of my life and the worst mistake you'll ever make.
Why is the issue of Kim Porter and this book and Courtney maybe trying to publish it, why is that coming out now?
Well, I think what initially happened was when the book was first published on Amazon by Chris Todd. Right. So that kind of created, it was #1 for weeks on Amazon, actually, #1 bestseller.
Yep.
To my understanding, at the last count, sold almost like 20, 30,000 copies in that range. So it was really selling. So then there was a time where Chris was doing all these interviews, and then there was something going on behind the scenes because I had known Chris since August. That's when I initially met Chris, and I didn't meet Courtney until 2 days before on the 31st. I didn't meet him until October 29th. So I didn't know who he was. Chris did represent the entire time, even with the book, because we did start talking about, first he came to me like, "Oh, I have some information that may be relevant to the cases you have against Diddy." And that kind of morphed into, "Well, we have this stuff. We don't know what to do or how to use it. Can we get some legal advice or direction?" And I'm like, we don't want to tread on extortion, just kind of trying to get an understanding for what they had and what they understood. But Chris never told me about Courtney. He told me he had a partner, but never told me who Courtney was. And then all of a sudden, one day I see Chris is doing interviews about the book. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then shortly thereafter, I get a call from Courtney saying that he just was served with a summons by the federal government. And then I went back and saw an interview that Courtney had done on October 20th, where he is now stepping out of the shadows, saying that he's the one who had the tapes. He was the one who had the book. And that's how all of this came out. And I feel that that interview Courtney did October 20th is what led to the summons and the subpoena from the federal government. Because now if he's saying he has all of these things, he's now, and I think something no one is keeping in mind. We've seen all of these victims file civil lawsuits, right? But why hasn't the government called them as witnesses before the grand jury, right? You would think those would be people that would be called.
Do you know for sure? Do you know for sure they haven't?
Well, I don't. To my understanding, at least none of my clients have been called.
Sure,
and
fair enough.
I know other lawyers, and I'll talk to them, and none of their, at least I'll say this, none of their clients who already have active lawsuits have been called. Now, there might be some other people who have been called, but those people are not plaintiffs in a civil litigation. However, with Courtney doesn't have a lawsuit against Diddy. He's not a victim of Diddy. So I think the other part of this is being an unbiased third party. So the government is really the credibility that they felt that he had and the information that they believed him to have based on what he said in an interview on October 20th. They issued a summons for him 4 days later. They issued a summons for him in a subpoena October 24th, and they didn't serve it to him till October 28th. And then I talked to him October 29th, and then we went to the grand jury testimony on the 31st. So that was like the progression of those things. But I think it's just a culmination of the government is trying to look for all relevant information, people who purport.
So why would they be calling Courtney Burgess in if they got a lot of evidence on him? That means they still trying to build a case on him while he's still sitting behind bars, because why is they subpoenaing and all these different people to, like this Courtney Burgess guy that supposedly got the book and a few tapes of a freak off party? You know what I'm
Send those
saying?
tapes. Do it prove
Yeah,
that he was trafficking? Do that.
right,
How could you
right.
tell someone's trafficking
That's
from a
what
party?
that's what I think they looking for. They looking for ways to see if he that trafficking. They want that to stick, bro. But you won't
But you
know.
can't get that. You can't get that
You
from
can't
a
get that. See,
party. Like you don't know who was trafficked in that party.
they're trying to get all types of witnesses. You know what I'm saying, to come forward to testify against Diddy in this trial, bro. Because they still don't have. I don't believe they still have it all. I don't.
How are they still able to keep him in jail and deny him bail? Then
bro,
basically they saying he's guilty already.
Yo, hit that like button, y'all. If y'all ain't hit that like button yet, if y'all just coming in, please smash the like button.
I guess they don't need evidence anymore to for people to be guilty.
I guess not. I guess not, bro.
I mean, they said they ain't even really had no evidence on Tory Lane. There was no evidence that his fingerprints was on that gun or any gunpowder residue was on it.
Somebody doing somebody a favor.
So we don't even know what be going on out here behind the scenes. We be thinking we knowing because our emotions be going as soon as we hear these articles that's pushed out there or these, you know what I mean? As soon as we hear the story or allegation or something, you know what I mean? The emotions start going and you say he's guilty right away. If that's enough to convict someone, we in a world of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
We in a world of trouble, everybody. I just feel that he's guilty. We don't need no evidence. I feel like he's guilty. If that's enough to make somebody guilty, that's wild.
All right, we're gonna get into a quick commercial break. We gotta get into the Smokey Jaguar. Smokey going in on Jaguar.
The circus. All
right, let's. Yeah. All right, we got the sale going on for the holiday, 40% off. 9dayherbals.com. Definitely make sure y'all go over there, take advantage of that. Spend $50 or more, get 40% off. This will be going in throughout the holiday, so definitely take advantage of that. All right.
Fact. We definitely appreciate everybody who's been shopping with us, man. Who've been putting them orders through. Yeah, I mean, we definitely been shipping them out. Some of y'all should be getting your orders sometime right after the holidays. Some of y'all probably got some before. Probably got some today. So yeah, man, shout out to y'all who've been definitely supporting us, buying these quality products.